This video is part 3 in creating the digital workflow between D2L and Google Classroom. So in the previous videos, you learned how to create an assignment, add the widget to your D2L page, and also create the assignment in Google Classroom. So now we're ready to actually do the work. So we're going to walk through how a student gets there and what you can do while you're in that environment. The student's going to go to their D2L page for your classroom, and there you'll have the assignment in there under announcements or wherever you may post it. Of course, you're going to have that conversation of how to do this ahead of time, and once you get going, they'll know exactly what to do. So here it says we're going to be working on our Twitter Monsters page, but you're going to actually work this into Google Classroom first before you actually submit it here. So we're going to go click on the widget of Google Classroom. And that's going to take them right to their Google Classroom homepage. So this is the only page that the student has, so I can click in there. And you can see there's that stream post of the new assignment. So I'm going to click on that assignment. And there, of course, those are all my directions that I had before. Now, because I made a copy for each student, that test copy is right in there. So we can just click on that, and that's going to open up the copy for the student. There's nothing else I have to do. I will point out, though, if they wanted to add something else to it, they can add whatever they want, whether they want to link something, add a file, or make other stuff. So they're never stuck with just one thing. They can add multiple things. So let's click on the Google Drawing. And here's the assignment that I handed out via Google Classroom. So this is their Twitter Monster thing. So they're going to work on this. Now here's a kind of ongoing copy that I just threw in there as a student. But this is where we're going to see the power of integrating Google Classroom into D2L. This is going to be for formative assessment and to see ongoing work in progress. This is really important because, not everything is going to be assessed. This could just be work for learning something, not necessarily completing something to show that you're learning all the time. This is an ongoing thing. So this is where the comments open up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over right now to my teacher profile. So this is the teacher page. And I'm going to go into the class work, and I'm going to go into that work that I assign the students. So when you do that, you can go in, and I'm going to go view the assignment. And there I can see, oh, look, there's my test student there. And I can see even just from the small snapshot that something's happening there. There's the original assignment for another student, but here's that assignment there. So I'm going to click on this. And this is what I can see as a teacher. So I see the ongoing work that's happening right now. The student added all this stuff. So I can go in here and I can add comments on this side panel. That's like a private comment. These comments you write in here are going to show up on the Google Classroom homepage by the assignment for the student. And then you can post. So that's a private comment that only goes to that student. No one else is going to see that. I also have the option of using the comments up here. So think of this as the comment bank on the side, and we have many tutorials that talk about that. But I'm going to move this over for a second. And we have this little comment box up here with the plus sign. When I click on that, this is really powerful because I can click, let's say I want to click on that guy and then do a comment. Now that comment is going to be associated with that item. This will be the same thing if you highlight a sentence in Google Doc or something on a slideshow and hit comment. Now that I flip back to the student side, notice there's my comment that I wrote ongoing on the assignment from my teacher point of view. Now here's the cool thing, when I click on that, notice it's hard to tell, but there's a little yellow highlight and that box pops up. So it lets me know what that comment is referring to for the student. And then remember that comment we did on the side panel there? Well, that one, if I go back to my Google Classroom as a student, look at that, here's my assignment, and now there's a private comment here. I love your Darth Vader. Obviously, you'll think of something way better to say in here, but we get those comments that go back and forth. So again, I know I'm going to flip again. Let's go back to my teacher one. If I go into here, I've got this side panel here that says grading. I'm going to open that up. There's that private comment from the student. I'll also be able to see that in my Google Classroom profile when I go in there. There's many ways you can see it, and you can watch our tutorial videos on it, but notice there's a comment up here that says thanks, so I get that little notification in there as well. So that's the main reason where you can do ongoing formative assessment, have a conversation, help guide the student to what they're doing as they're working. Let's flip back to the student account one more time because let's finish this assignment. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, if you're just doing this as an assignment to just comment back and forth, by all means, you can keep that in your Google Classroom. So as a student, I'm going to go back and I can click Turn In. If that finishes the assignment for you, great. It'll be organized in your Google Classroom. We all know that when we go into Google Classroom, it's always going to be under classwork, and it's saved under your Drive folder. There's one there. Or if you just go to Google Drive, it's going to be in your classroom folder there. If that's the end of it, awesome. They have a record of it. You have a record of it with all the formative assessment and comments back and forth. Now, what happens if we want to take it to that next step and actually submit this assignment into D2L? Because remember in D2L, and you'll see this during part 4 video, it has more powerful tools that we want to use. There's feedback that includes video feedback, audio feedback, you can add commentary, and it's going to be connected with analytics. And also parents will be able to see more what their child is doing, where Google Classroom only gives you that little snapshot of assignments. Now, there's a big difference. When you're going to be putting this into D2L, the one thing we can't do is actually submit it or turn it in. Because when you turn something into Google Classroom, it actually takes away the student's access. So see here, it only says view only. That's because they've handed it in and it's now in the teacher's hands. So when we're going to put something in D2L, we actually don't want to turn it in. If you did already, not a big deal. The student can just go in and hit unsubmit. And there you can see that turn in button again. So we're not going to do that when we hand it into D2L. Once the assignment is done, we leave it just like that, and then we're going to go look at part 4 of the digital workflow to submit this into D2L.